ॐ नमो नारायणाय। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। ॐ नमो नारायणाय।
श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि।
रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्।
சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्य कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि। रामानुजदया पात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्।
சீரொன்று தொப்புள் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்றுதானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு. So we had a negative, rather very hard instruction in the previous session. So na sannidhanancha, we start with this page. Na sannidhanancha harer dhamni hanishya sampadam radhanta sankarah karyaha na anya siddhanta karmana. This is a little positive in the sense, nothing will happen to the temple of Lord Vishnu. So nothing will happen. So na, the first word na. So hanishcha, hani, no trouble will come to the dhamni. Dhama is the place of residence. So we call it in Sanskrit also Devakulam. Devakulam. Devakulam is what we call temple. We have other names, as you know, Mandiram from adopted by Hindi as Mandir, Alayaha, Alayaha, and so on. Devasthanam, as it is said by Andhra people. So Devasthanam. I think Kerala also follows the Swami Devasthanam. Right. So there are so many words for temple, whereas here Dhama. So Harer Dhama, Lord Sriman Narayana's place. Of course, every place is his, but special place where Archavatara is available. So Harer Dhamni, in the place of the Lord, meaning in the temple of the Lord, na sannidhanam hanihi. So there is no trouble to the presence of divine presence of the Lord, nor there will be trouble for the riches of the temple. The coffers of the temple, Coffers, coffers of the temple. So Sampadam, so the money connected with the economic position connected with the temple will also have no trouble. When? When will it not have trouble? So Radhanta Sankarah Karyaha Na. You must read it very carefully because the letter Na is there. So Na Karyaha meaning it should not be done. What should not be done? Radhanta Sankaraha. Mixture of traditions. Radhanta is to be again remembered as Siddhanta. And again we have 4 Siddhantas. So let us not have a mix-up of 2 traditions or among the 4 anything. So Anya Siddhanta Karmana, by performing the activities based on another tradition, Anya, another Siddhanta tradition, Karmana, Siddhanta principle, Karmana by the action. If by the action of some other tradition is not performed um, because of the mixture of the tradition, then both the temple and their wealth will be safe. It's a very positive statement, but of course with a double negative. So, mantra siddhanta mukhyeshu chaturshvu api yathapuram anudishtanti ekarme samaradhanam uchyate. Now we can understand better this word samaradhanam instead of aradhanam. When we say in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, we call it in Tamil, first word Shri Aradhanam. Tamil is Thiru Aradhanam. We never say simply Aradhanam because Aradhanam can mean appreciation or praise of someone, not exactly God. But Thiruvaradhanam meaning only it refers to the divinity. And therefore, and again another what we call connected meaning in Samaradhanam is feeding the good people. I would not say poor people. So we will say Samaradhanam will be worshipping the devotees of the Lord by food. That's the meaning. So when you say Samaradhanam, so a feast is given to people connected with God. And in the sense, devotees, priests, and so on. Now, so Samaradhanam will be Tadiyaradhanam. The first letter is T. It is not D. Its first letter is T. Tadiyaradhanam. It is not a question of giving curds. Yes, it's not giving curds. It's not Dadiyaradhanam. The curds is given at the final stage of the food. Of course, no problem. So again, you are always perfect in the transliteration, and therefore, so Samaradhanam is please understand here in this context beautifully that it is better Aradhanam, rather perfect Aradhanam. It's not a better Aradhanam. That means comparing your Aradhanam and my Aradhanam. So and say one is better than the other. Not this way. There is no comparison. Samaradhanam is the perfect Aradhanam. And in the temple also, today, in these days, they give Annadhanam. They feed the poor people as they aim at. And it makes them lazy also. All temple employees, not only the temple employees, but also their families come and take the food. The Annadhanam is done by donations from the devotees also. And therefore, otherwise, government treasury has to be exhausted. So that's what Ramadas did it. Ramadas did in Bhadrachalam. Bhadrachalam Ramadas was spending government money on giving free food to the devotees and also to the temple. To construct the temple, he used the government money. So, Mantra Siddhanta Mukhyeshu, second verse. Mantra Siddhanta Mukhyeshu Chaturshvapi Yathapuram. Now, even the city in which the temple is situated is more relevant. It's also a concern. Where is the temple? Where is the temple? The temple in London, UK or India. Yathapuram. According to the city. According to the city in the sense, according to the availability of the materials for worship. That's more important. Not availability of people. People are available, they can be shifted to any place. But as materials are not available in certain places. For example, even tulasi, for example, basil leaf, Osimum sanctum may not be available in some place. But in that case, especially at least in one season like December. Even a garden of tulasi leaves in the temple will fade, will not grow, will not be there in December, winter, and therefore availability of materials. So, but that is always the general instruction how to conduct the worship through the Siddhanta out of the four. Chaturshu, out of the four, api, even out of the four, yathapuram, as per the regional restrictions or regional availabilities. Mantra Siddhanta Mukhyeshu. So you have the spell used, mantra is spell is used in a particular tradition, Mukhyeshu, and they are very important. So people follow meticulously. Ye who anutishtanti karma. When they follow exactly the actions prescribed. Anutishtanti means follow. Tishtanti means stay or stand. Anutishtanti meaning follow. So follow the tradition, karma, the action. That is called samaradhana. So samaradhanam uchyate. Samaradhanam achyute, sorry. Achyute. So only Lord Sriman Narayana's worship is called samaradhana, not any other deity. That's very important. I read it wrong. So samaradhanam achyute. So Achyuta will not leave us in the lurch, will not drop us down. The special name, the meaning of the word Achyuta, the first word that we mention in Achamanam, Achyutaya Namaha, Anantaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha, infallible, right? Good. So you are giving a technical jargon. So Samaradhanam Achyute, when we worship the Lord with the right tradition, with the right spells and so on, then He will not let us down. So it is for only Sriman Narayana. So again, Asankarena. So when there is no mixture, so Asankarena, when there is no mixture, they, so previously the word ye was there, who, so te, anyonyam sambandha arhaha narottamaha. Now, for the sake of relationship, I say, so a priest's son can marry a priest's daughter. And that is what we call sharira sambandha. Sharira sambandha, physical connection. Whereas the Lord's connection with the priest, so they will be the best people, narottamaha. Narottamaha, when they connect to the God, so they are related to each other. Sambandharhaha. Anyonyam sambandharhaha. They will be mutually related to each other. They will be in tune with the other. Their thoughts will be the same. Their attitude will be similar, and so on. And there is a note number 1 for sambandharhaha. What is the sambandha? We will see it and come back to the same. Oh, sambandhaha hi kakha cha jan. It's what you call first letter given, of course, 1 and 3 are first letters. Other 2 are second letters. Different MSS. Okay. So different manuscripts, right? Manuscript. So asankarena anutishtanti iti anvayaha. The prose order will be, you take the first word anutishtanti in the first line, and in the second line asankarena, and join them both and bring a sentence like they anyonyam, mutually, asankarena anutishtanti. Without mixing up, they follow. So anvayaha meaning prose order. Anvayaha in another context means family. Here race RACE, but whereas here it is prose order. Now again there is a negative presentation. If it is mixed up, what will happen? So what will be the defects, what will be the consequences, bad consequences out of mixing. So Siddhanta Sankare, this is the title, topic of the next set of verses. So Dosha Prapanchanam. Prapanchanam is explanation, description of the defects that result out of mixture of traditions. Tatraiva Jirnodhara Adhyaye. Now, this is otherwise synonymous with, or we say in Tamil also, in the Sanskrit word, Kumbha Abhishekam. Kumbha Abhishekaha, Kumbha Abhisheka. And also we say Samprokshanam. Samprokshanam. Otherwise called as Keshav Swami says, renovation. Renovation. Re-establishment. So, Jirna Uddhara. Actually, it refers to a dilapidated temple. A temple which structures are tottering. It is about to fall down. Some deficiencies have developed. Cracks on the walls. Cracks on even the divine figures. Some falling of the limbs. Chiseling of the unfortunate chiseling of the figures. In the murtis, in the figures, in the divine figures. So Tatraiva Jirnodhara Adhyaya. We are referring to only that particular chapter under the Dosha Prapanchanam, namely explanation of the defects as an outcome of mixture of traditions. Ya Murtihi Yena Tantrena Yadrishena Adhikarina Prathame Kalpane Sa Eva Dvitiye Kalpane Bhave. So the particular divine figure of the Lord, Murtihi, Ya Murtihi. Murti is a feminine gender word, therefore Ya is it. So Yena Tantrena, by which tradition, by which Siddhanta we say, otherwise even called, generally speaking, the broad category, namely Vaikhanasa and Pancaratra. So Pancaratra is a Tantra and Vaikhanasa. So Yadrishena Adhikarina, a qualified man, a qualified person who can perform those activities. So Prathame Kalpane. So we may not be able to fix the tradition if it is a new temple. How to understand that there is a new divine figure is to be worshipped by which tantra, by which siddhanta. So now we can imagine, as we discussed in the last session, some sanctum sanctorum has been bequeathed to some other set of people. So prathame kalpane, when it is the first imagination, when it is first deducing, you just guess, make a wild guess that this figure only is according to Pancharatra or Vaikhanasa. Again, under Pancharatra, the four Siddhantas. Then, Sa eva dvitiye kalpane bhav. So that imagination should be continued in the second turn also. In the sense, when the figure Murti is with some defect, meaning in the sense, even for example, for a very long time, the divine figure has been anointed. What you call Tirumajjanam, or Srimajjanam, or we say simple say Abhishekaha, anointment. By pouring all kinds of materials, the figure would have been disfigured. Disfiguring of the rather, we don't see exactly the beautiful limbs as we see. So when we know the tradition which has been followed already, the system should be same before and after renovation. Right, that's all. Dvitiya Kalpana. So what I want to say is, remember the tradition which was followed earlier, and then it should be repeated second time. So Murtihi Tadeva, Tantrancha Sayeva, Stapakaha Puna. So the figure is same, the divine figure is same. Tantram. Tantram is also same. The Tantram is what you call procedure is same. Stapakaha Punaha Saha. The establisher, one who makes it consecrated, purified, he is also the same. Tantra adhikari murti nam vyatyeye kalpite sati nrinam narapateschapi rashtrasya cha bhavet chayaha. This is another negative statement. It's a warning. Suppose we change the murti, change the adhikari, and change the tantra. The procedure is changed. The qualified person is changed. The figure is changed. Vyatyaye kalpite sati. When we make a shift of these three aspects, then what will happen? People of the place, not only place, country, district, state, and country, the whole country, even the world, as you say. Narapate chapi, even the leaders of the country, the king, for example, Rashtrasya of the nation, Chayaha Bhave. There will be what we call oh, deficiency. The nation will not be prosperous. Destruction. It's a reduction. It's a reduction of the prosperity. It will no more be so prosperous as it was before. So the nation also should be further developed by the worship of the deity in the temples. So Archavatara is more important. They should be kept pure. The activities must be carried out without any change. So iti. Tasmin eva uttaratra prayaschitta adhyaya. Again in the same, what do you call, uh, dosha prapanchanam. In the dosha prapanchanam, we have Jirnodhara adhyaye, that is the renovation chapter. As he said, Jirna, as we understand, it is what we call digestion. Jirnam is digested. So that means dilapidated. Uh, again, further, Uttaratra means somewhere in the next portion. Prayaschitta Adhyay. What is the expiation activity should, to be planned? Prayaschitta Adhyay. So, janane marane cha eva, swa shrigala kharadibihi. पृष्ठे च बिंबे तंत्राणाम संकरे समुपस्थिते एवमादिषु च अन्येषु संप्रोक्षण विधिर्भवे. So a dog entering into the temple, a jackal, I think Shrigala, I think the spelling in the text print is different. Maybe it has got another spelling. So the Shrigala, Shakara is the spelling for Shrigala, jackal. Jackal. So we are not referring to actually the animals here. Maybe the human beings in themselves are animals here because they sneak into the temple like a dog or a jackal. And Khara is called the donkey. So the donkey. It's called another name is also there for donkey. So Shvashrigala Kharadibihi. So Janane Marane. Suppose they are born within the temple. The mother dog gives birth to um, the young ones in the temple, or they die, puppies. When they die in the temple precincts, in the campus, what you call premises. So when they die or when they are born in the premises of the temple, then when it happens that the priest touches the divine figure, when he has earlier touched these animals, the bodies of dead bodies of the animals or the even the newborn. So sprishte, when it is touched, bimbe sprishte, the image, the divine image is touched. Tantranam sankare samapasthite. Therefore, with regard to the differences in traditions, when they have mixed up, then evam, in this way, adishu cha anyeshu, even in other situations also, similar situations also, samprokshana vidhir bhavi. The only expiation, atonement of the defect will be renovation. Samprokshanam is our simple meaning is prokshanam is sprinkling. Samprokshanam is good sprinkling. So good sprinkling of holy water with spells chanted. So the incantations have been already used. So according to the procedure of the what we call Jirnodhara, Kumbhabhisheka, Samprokshana and so on. So the rule must be followed. So iti Naradiye. So in the Narada section also, the part which has been said by Narada. So Vyatyaye Parivaranam Bhoga Naradiya Samhita. Parivaranam Bhogadinam cha Gautama Purvat Snapanam Kritva Shanti Homam Samachare. So Shanti Homa is a part of limb of Samprokshanam. So Vyatyaye Parivaranam Bhogadinam cha Gautama. Gautama is a sage addressed by Narada. So here it's called the Deva Rishi. Narada is Deva Rishi, divine sage. So Vyatyaye Parivaranam Bhogadina. So in the families of the deities, there are so many other deities. If you take Rama, Lakshmana, Sita, Hanuman are there. So if you take Lord Sriman Narayana, Sri Devi, Bhudevi, the Panchayudam, the 5 weapons, so many other beras, what you call the special figures meant for special occasions, and so on. So all of them will have in some change, Vyatyaye. So Bhogadina. So Bhoga is one meaning in 2 ways. Bhoga is what we call the posture of which of the Lord, and also the uh, food of the Lord offered. Again, if there are some changes, Hey Gautama, O Gautama, Purvavati Snapanam Kritva. Again, the anointment must be done. Snapanam again, so Snapanam is Snanam. Simple meaning is Snanam. So Snapanam Purvat Kritva, having done as it was done earlier, Shanti Homam Samachari. Say a fire ritual, seeking the rather purity that will appease the defects, bring down the defects. Shamanam, that's called the Shanti. That will bring peace, P-E-A-C-E. So it will bring peace to the country, nation, that is what we call to the king and the people, subjects. Samachare should be followed. Again, of course, the subject is missing, and therefore, so the first line, I think you have to, yeah. So atra adi shabden. Now the word adi is there here, meaning etc. etc. What is that etc? And others. Adi means and others. Meaning, so when it is given as siddha vyatyaye parivaranam bhoganam, only 2 aspects have been said in the verse. Atra meaning, adi meaning siddhanta vyatyaye tantra व्यत्यय आदि संग्रह अपेक्षितत्वात् अविशेषाच्च अतएव हि अत्र एव उक्तम्. So संग्रहः, now it is given in brief, it is abridged here without giving all the words again and again. So we should not have any change in Siddhanta. Siddhanta Vyatyaya must be avoided. Tantra Vyatyaya must be avoided. Procedural lapse must be avoided. That is the intention of the presence of the word called Adi. So atra here Adi Shabdena by the term Adi, meaning no Siddhanta Vityaya and no Tantra Vityaya should happen. Why? Because it is needed. Apekshitatvat. It is necessary. It is needed. Therefore, Abhisheshacha. So when we say one thing, it includes another. When we say Bhoganam Parivaranam, it includes Siddhanta and Tantra. Therefore, there is no special mention necessary of the words again and again. So, Abhisheshacha. There is no difference between Bhoganam and Parivaranam from Siddhanta and Tantra. So, Bhoga includes Tantra and Siddhanta. Parivara includes Tantra and Siddhanta. Tantrena ekena kartavyam karshanadishu Narada. So, Narada being addressed now, so they are asking the question. So, whether, the doubt, they wanted clarification. The sage Gautama wants a clarification. Tantrena ekena kartavyam. It doesn't look like a question, but it is a question. So, should we follow only one spell procedure, one procedure in what we call Karshana? Karshana is Akarshana, attracting the divinity on the figure of the idol of the Lord. So, Karshana is actually pulling. So, pulling the spirit into the figure, rather tangible, solid figure. So, yat tantrena samarabdham, tat tantrena eva karayi. So, whatever procedure was adopted earlier, that same procedure must be adopted here too. So, anuttamscha anyatantreshu nirikshya atra niyoje. Suppose some words are missing, we understand that some words are there, not there. When they are not said clearly, anuktamcha, anyatantreshu, in the other traditions, nirikshya, having closely observed, we should not be careless in reading out, the studying deeply the tantras. So nirikshya, having a probing eye and looking at the different traditions, whatever has not been mentioned, atra niyojet, one has to associate them. Visheshamscha, and if they are special, if they are extraordinary, if they are peculiar to the situation, Hey Munishreshta, oh, the best sage, tu but anyatha rashtra. So the Munishreshta is addressed to Gautama by Narada. So he says, if these special instructions are not followed, then the nation will go to ruin. So iti Parameshwarecha Pratishtadhyaya. Parameshwara Samhita is the very Samhita followed by Srirangam temple. So I am trying to understand and teach a bhatter called Aravinda Bhattaha, son of Narasimha Bhatta in Srirangam. So he has learnt only a few pages so far. And Parameshwarecha Pratishtadhyaya. Parameshwaracha Pratishtadhyaya. In the Parameshwara Samhita, actually propounded by Lord Shiva as the grandson of the Lord Srimanarayana. So Pratishtadhyaya, when a temple has to be constructed, a divine figure must be consecrated. Pratishtadhyaya, in the chapter referring to the Pratishtha, the establishment. Then Visheshena Swayam Vyakte Divye saidhepi varshake sthane tu karma bimbanam vyatyayam na samachare. Dwara anga avriti devanam pujayaha bhavanasi. Now I think we have already categorized the temples as Swayam Vyakte, self-manifested kshetras, holy places. Generally in those days we say 8 places. Adyam Rangamiti Proktam Vimanam Ranga Samyutam. And that is the first. Srirangam is the first out of the 8. Ashtame Swayam Vyakta Kshetrani Mama. Lord himself says there are 8 self-manifested places, and we have a list. Other 7 are there. So, Simushnam, I think you can get it from Keshwada Swami, that both the lines, very easy. So, Simushnam Venkatadrincha Salagramancha Naimisham, Totadri Pushkaraschaiva, Nara Narayanash. These are the 7. So I shall give details if you want for the 8 Swayamvakta Kshetras. And then you have Divya Kshetras. Divya Kshetras again meaning divine places, meaning the Mangala Shasanam has been done by Alvars. And this is what we call Divya Kshetra. Doesn't mean other categories are not divine. It's called divine Kshetram when there is Alvars have sung on them. So Divya Kshetram. And Saidhe, there are some sages, savants, the rishis, Munivar, they have established some temples. Then the 4th one is Varshake. I think the footnote Varshake will also give the letter, yes, Chakaga, Chachaja, Cha. Varshake. I don't understand clearly the word Varshake, but generally Varsha is Samvatsara, year. Varshaka is yearly, annual. But that doesn't refer to the new establishment of a temple. Varsha meaning generally Varshaha in Bahuvachanam, plural means rains. Maybe I can imagine that Assam state in India, always a rainy place. Oh, Arsha. Oh, Va Arshake, right, sorry. Va Arshake, right. Va is R, O-R. Yes, Va Arshake, thanks to Yeshudas Swami. So Arshake, again Rishi. The previous one is also Siddha. So Siddha is different from Rishi. Siddha is a successful person. Successful person in the sense he has realized the God. That means he has seen God by his very eyes. He has experienced the divinity within him. And Rishi, I think, is a little lower level than a Siddha. So Arshake. So when the temples have been established by sages. So these 4 types are there. Swayam Vyakte, Divye, Siddhe, Saidhe, and Arshake. Srirangam, yeah. Can you repeat the WhatsApp message? So here, the most important aspect is the temple. Yeah, Srirangam Venkatadri. Oh, you are talking about 8 Swayamvakta Chesas. Yes. Srimishtam Tota Parvatam. Oh, we call it Totadri. Okay. So the previous line, I must see the previous line of Sthane tu Karma Bimbanam. The screen must be lowered Yeah. Still. Yeah. Yeah. Visheshena, extraordinarily, specifically. Swayam Vyakte, self-manifested places, Divye, the divine places sung by Alvars. Saidhe, the temple established by the successful people called Siddhas. And Arshaki, by sages. The temples established by sages. Sthane to Karma Bimbanam. So in these places, Karma Bimbanam Vyatyayam na samachari. There should be no lacuna in action or the bimba, the image of the Lord. So Dwara Anga Avriti Devanam Pujayaha Bhavanasya. Again, there should be no deviation in the entrance, rather even construction of the entrance, the size of the door and so on. So Dwara, again, Dwara Palaka, Dwaranga is Dwara Palaka. The doorkeepers will be the part of the entrance. So Dwara Anga, there will be limbs. What should be the images in the door? It is done beautifully in some temples like Sri Ranganatha temple in Pomona. So all the Dashavataras, 10 incarnations have been depicted in the door. It's very good for devotees to just see all the God's forms. So then Avriti, repetition. Sometimes there will be repetitions on the left side door or right side door. The 10 incarnations will get repeated. Avriti Devana, the gods around it, the gods around the sanctum sanctorum. So Pujayaha Bhavanasya, the of the worship as well as the place, rather temple. Bhavanasya meaning temple. The Bhavanam is called Deva Bhavanam, we can say. Temple. So Pujaya. So iti arabhya, thus starting. Na lakshanantaram kuryat, na pramanantaram. So the definition must not be changed. Lakshanam is definition. Lakshanam in Tamil will be what we call beauty. So it also can be applied. So the beauty of the spell, beauty of the Riddhanta, beauty of the Tantra, beauty of the what we call Bhoga, beauty of the Parivara should not be changed. So don't follow any other definition. Na Lakshanantaram. Lakshanantaram is another definition. Kuryat, na kuryat should not be done. So na pramanantaram tatha. Don't take any other proof. The very tradition is the proof. Need not to consult any other siddhanta. Natu dravyantaram. Don't use any other material. When it is not prescribed, don't use those materials. Na dravyantaram cha eva nacha kuryat kriyantaram. So activities also should not differ. Mantrantaram na kurvita. Don't take other spells. For example, Srirangam temple will have Om Namo Narayanaya. So another temple will have Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Another temple will have Om Namo Vishnave. So these are all certain mantras, small mantras, which great, of course, great mantras, small in spelling. Remaking of a murti have to be of the same. Okay. We are referring to mantra, not the murti. The priest, while entering into the temple, should utter a specific mantra related to that temple. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Vishnave. In that way, so he cannot change. Mantrantaram na kurvi. Suddenly he will not change over to some other mantra. Again, Sarvam Kuryat Yathapur. As we saw earlier, regional restrictions are there. Then we have, according to the place, we have to act. Kuryacha Devamadinam. Kuryat Chet Kuryacha Adeva Madinam Viparyasam Mahamate. So if it is not a temple of gods, Adeva Madinam, Kuryacha, yeah, Adeva Madinam Viparyasam Mahamate, Rajnyaha Rashtrasya Nasha Syat Sarvasyapi Swatantati. The priest will have his own family trouble, his own clan trouble, race trouble. If the change has been done with regard to the divine figures and non-divine figures also. Supposing a founder of the temple will have his statue, the donor of the temple has a statue inside, then worship must not be done as being done to the Lord. So it will give trouble to the king and kingdom. Rajnyaha Rashtrasya Nasha. There will be destruction of the kingdom and the king. Entirely, totally. It will be a total destruction of his own family also. Swasantatehi. All the what you call the onerous responsibility is placed on the priest. The priest has to take much care, due care of all the aspects of the thing. So this is of a negative note. So we will take up just one line in the next page so that there will be no negative. Of course, this is the instruction. The previous one was negative, but this is what should not be followed. What should not be followed. So tatraiva in that context, bhoganancha viparyasam, mantranancha viparyayam, dhyanananchaiva mudranam, devatanam tathaiva cha, anyesham evam adinam vyatyasam na sacha samachare. We use the word Tamil vityasam. There is exactly vyatyasam in Sanskrit. Vyatyasaha. The pullinga shabda, masculine gender word. That is in the third line. So Bhoganam already mentioned, Bhoganam and Mantranam. Then we have added now Dhyananam. Even meditation of the Lord by the priest must be done according to the rules. So I go on meditating Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The 14 syllable mantra also. So again Mudrana, the hand expressions. The hand expressions should be right, relevant, then Devatanam Tathevit. The divine figures must be also respected as they are prescribed in the Pancaratra tradition according to the one of the four Siddhantas. So Annesham Evam Adinam. So with regard to others also, there should be no difference. No difference must be practiced. Vyatyasam na samachare. So we will stop here and we will continue the next session. Now we go to the next session for the Prayaschitta Adhyaya. Almost it looks like a repetition for me. The defects, presentation of defects, and then presentation of expiation, atonement. I don't know why they are stressed again and again. But still, Swami Vedanta Deshika is very particular about the follow up of the procedure scrupulously. He doesn't want to mince matters. He is very clear. He has faith in the tradition. Though he was not a priest, as we understand in his life, he was never a priest. And prescribing rules for others is very easy also. And of course, based on Pancaratra book, which was said by Mahavishnu to Mahalakshmi, he wants to follow in letter and spirit. Verbatim is verbatim. He doesn't want to change even a single word. In fact, we have already experienced that a well-known figure, but without history of the personal life. Kalidasa was the greatest poet in Sanskrit, and Kalidasa was imitated by Swami Vedanta Deshika in his Hamsa Sandesham. Out of 144 verses of Meghadutam, Megha Sandesham, sending the cloud as a messenger between two unknown people. We don't know the even name. Yaksha, a divine being called Yaksha, a category of divine being called Yaksha, a servant of Kubera. Kubera is the Yakshadipati, leader of Yakshas. And no name is there. A Yaksha sends to his wife. We don't know his wife's name also. Anonymous story, rather imagination. Good imagination. 144 verses in Megha Sandesha by Kalidasa. So while writing Hamsa Sandesha, again an imagination. It did not happen. Rama did not send Sita a swan as a messenger. But still, imitating Kalidasa, a great poet, Vedanta Deshika had a flair for repeating the same words. He doesn't take out a single letter and replaces by his own words. And then, so he uses 2 or 3 verses from Megha Sandesham and adopts them in the Hamsa Sandesham. The situation is similar, the context is same, the geography is same.
रामानुजदया पात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम् कवितार्किकसिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय वेदान्तगुरवे नमः। वादिद्विभतिरोभङ्गपञ्चाननपराक्रमः श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्य चिरं विदेतां भुवि திருநுதோப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ராமானுஜதயா பாத்திரம் ஞானவைராக்யபூஷணம் ஸ்ரீமத்வேங்கடநாதார்யம் வந்தே வேதாந்ததேசிகம்
कवितार्किकसिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय वेदान्तगुरवे नमः। சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய